Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating story about a massive reversal of fortune. We're going to dive into a highly dramatic narrative straight from our source material. And let me tell you, it is a tale overflowing with unchecked ego, devastating betrayal, and ultimately, a perfectly executed delivery of karma. So, if you've ever wondered how the universe balances the scales when someone is treated with just profound injustice, well, you are definitely in the right place.
Let's kick things off with the absolute core mystery of today's story. How exactly did a rejected, discarded wife suddenly become the boss of her own cruel husband? I mean, talk about a total game changer. It's actually a masterclass in how quickly power dynamics can completely flip. So let's look at how this incredible sequence of events actually unfolds.
Moving into Section 1, a bitter marriage.
You know, every compelling story has to start with the status quo. And honestly, the one here is deeply unjust. Just look at the stark hypocrisy of our main character, Alu. On one side, you have his devoted wife Muli, lovingly preparing a meal for him. But Alu, he's brutally cruel to her. He literally insults her, claiming he's suffering a punishment for a past life just by being married to her. But then, look at the other side. The second he steps into the office and meets his new coworker, Gajari, it's like a switch flips. Suddenly he's the sycophantic sweetheart, claiming her presence makes work easy. It is a total night and day difference in how he treats the two women in his life.
Which brings us to Section 2, the office romance.
So Alu's extreme behavior creates the perfect storm for a really rapid workplace affair. We can actually track this shocking escalation day by day, and it moves fast. Day 1, okay, it starts innocently enough. Gajari is just helping Alu with his work. But by day 2, boundaries are already getting crossed. Alu insists on driving Gajari home. Then we hit day 3, which brings this kind of fabricated moment of destiny where her scooter breaks down and boom, they're on a coffee date. And then, at literally breakneck speed on day 4, Alu shockingly proposes marriage, completely ignoring the minor detail that, he's already married.
And that leads us to Section 3, the cruel betrayal.
Now, the absolute height of Alu's arrogance, his whole ego, happens when he decides to bring his new fiancée, Gajari, back to his own home, right where his wife, Muli, is waiting. And when Muli confronts them, Alu completely strips her of her dignity. I mean, he lies directly to Gajari's face, claiming that Muli is just the maid. He then looks right at his loyal wife and brutally evicts her, saying, "From today, you will not live in this house." Just like that, he erases years of marriage in a single cold sentence.
Muli is absolutely shattered, but right before she walks out into the unknown, leaving Alu to his delusions, she delivers this chilling prophetic warning. Remember, one day you will regret this decision.
This brings us to Section 4, a twist of fate.
So, Muli is now completely abandoned. She's literally crying on the street in the dead of night with no family and what looks like a really bleak future. I mean, where do you even go when everything has been so unfairly ripped away from you? Well, for Muli, her despair ends up catching the attention of a wealthy, solitary stranger passing by. He stops, he actually listens to her tragic story, and he offers her a safe place to stay in his massive, empty home. But Muli doesn't just passively accept charity. She immediately applies her inherent devotion and strong work ethic to this new environment, stepping right in and taking over household duties. She cooks this warm, comforting meal for the stranger, basically bringing a home-like peace that he hasn't felt in a really long time. And unlike Alu, who just treated her like a burden, this stranger, he instantly recognizes and values Muli's incredible worth and character. Let's jump to Section 5. Karma strikes back. Meanwhile, back in Alu's world, he has meticulously set up this grand stage to welcome his company's brand new boss. He is completely oblivious to what's coming, but then, the person who steps out onto that stage introduced with total authority over the entire company is none other than Muli. It turns out the wealthy stranger empowered her with the absolute highest position in Alu's workplace. And let me tell you, the shock on Alu's face, it is a moment of pure, unadulterated, poetic justice. Alu's ruin happens in just a devastating chain reaction. Step 1, Muli assumes total unquestioned control. Step 2, looking right at the people who humiliated her, she flexes her new power and immediately fires both Alu and Gajari on the spot. And finally, Step 3, and this is the real kicker. The exact moment Alu loses a status, Gajari reveals her true colors. She instantly abandons him, bluntly stating she was literally only there for his money. So now, Alu is left standing completely alone. He's jobless, he's partnerless, and he's deeply regretting his actions, exactly as Muli predicted.
This is basically a textbook execution of karma, right? The universal principle of cause and effect. Alu's cruel intent and arrogant actions directly manufactured his own miserable future. I mean, what goes around truly and brutally comes around.
Ultimately, this story leaves us with an incredibly powerful moral about loyalty. It's a stark warning to never abandon our loved ones or treat them with cruelty, because the Wheel of Fortune, it's always turning. So I want to leave you with this final provocative question to really chew on. When your times inevitably change and all the superficial things fade away, who will be left standing by your side? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I definitely encourage you to keep exploring how our human behavior shapes the world around us.